Hello and welcome to Hops and Bros. This week,
we're gonna be angry, mad, and sour.
For an open window on a crappy world. Max and Chris from Ups and Bros. Ups and Bros. Welcome to Ups and Bros.
Alright, so this week we're taking a look at Sour IPAs. Now, if you don't know me, then you'll know me a lot more right now. I've got a theory about beer. It has to do with triangles in beer. So if you picture a triangle and you put sour here, and then you put bitter here, and you put sweet here, depending on what ingredients you use, you can go into one zone or the other, but they cancel each other out. Generally, in this case, you're kind of playing with both. You're kind of going between sour and bitter at the same time, and you're trying to keep a healthy balance between this whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, another thing to keep track of is some people will mistake bitter for being sour, or sour for being bitter. It's kind of a weird thing. It happens to a lot of people, but some people just don't realize what they're tasting and what it is in relation to. So you always have to take a look at that. Now again, with Sour IPAs, you're kind of playing with this, but you're kind of playing with the fact that some people don't really know what is what either.
Exactly.
Chris, do you have any more to say on this right now?
I have plenty of things to say because sour IPAs, like you said, start with somewhat of a misconception and a very big contradiction in tasting beer. So sour IPAs originated with fruited IPAs. So there's not a lot of good information around when did fruited IPAs started showing up, but a writer out there said that the first time he drank one was back in 2010 at a World Beer Convention. So you can see that fruited IPAs have been around for a while, and from that, breweries like Ballast Point out there, I think they are in California, not sure, brewed the grapefruit IPA that was a massive success back in the US. But what happened is that brewers, being brewers, trying to push things always a little bit more forward, trying to make it a lot more fruitier. Like I already talked about that on the last video, how everything's just a race for being the juiciest beer out there. But what happened with the sour IPAs is that it's actually a goal to create a beer that's fruitless but tastes like fruit. So we have plenty of hops that taste like fruit. Very, like, we can speak of Mosaic, which you get some grapefruits, you can get peaches out of them, but it's all ripe flavors of those fruits. If you want it fresh, what do, Max? You add acidity to your beer. Because acidity, when you think about it, I think like it blew my mind when I read it because it's so true. The first fruited beers I drank were raspberry beers, and they were always like raspberry pie. And we talk about it, Max, how people always think that it's gonna taste like the fresh fruit, but it always turns out to be something else.
Yes, we did.
Do you follow me on that?
Yeah, 100%. Go for it, man.
So by adding acids to those fruited aroma beers, you actually get the fresh fruit out of it. So this is where I think sour IPAs were born. Crazy. That's my short story.
Yeah, super crazy. Now, yeah, definitely.
How can you do it?
Let's go back to flavors real quick.
Yeah, flavors.
You know how bitterness is technically one of those flavors that's supposed to warn you in nature that something is bad. You shouldn't eat it, or you shouldn't drink it in this case. Now, humans are weird in the sense that we take something that is bad for us and we push it to the limit until someone dies or something terrible happens, and then we go, okay, that's the limit. But we can go to, like, the edge, right? We can still go. And when it comes to fruit, complete opposite. So, fruit have a mechanism where when they initially get ripe, they get a little sweeter. But at first they start sour, and then slowly but surely they get more and more sweet. Sweetness for humans means nutrition, means that this fruit, or this fruit in this case, is going to be good for me. It has the proper nutritional value that I'm looking for, compared to something that's overly sour is not ready yet.
And also it's important to note
kind of Darwin's law of evolution, yeah?
Yeah. Humans like
Yeah, go for
sugars because sugar releases endorphins and other drugs that make you prone to feel better in general. I learned that because when we got our baby girl, they gave her like 2 shots of pure sugar so she can feel like a little bit more easier. Kind of like drugged on sugar. Weird. End of the...
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, in a certain sense, we've evolved to realize that sweetness gives a lot more nutrition than acidity. All right, let's keep this on the side. Let's still think about it. Now, when you're creating a beer, and we're creating a modern beer, a modern IPA, you're trying to get it very fruity. But when you do create a beer, you want to have something that is kind of like the fruit. So say I have a raspberry. Well, raspberries are a little acidic. So I would probably want a beer that's a little more on the acidic side and less on the sweet side. But if you want a beer that has blueberries, technically blueberries are very acidic, but most people understand blueberries as being sweet because they associate that flavor with blueberry pie. In that case, you want to play with the flavors of the beer, with the inherent flavors of that wort, and subsequently beer. To get back to sour IPAs are just weird because they're all over the place. We're playing with those two extremes and trying to find a balance, or trying to not find a balance within them. IPAs in general are a non-balanced beer. Sours in general are a non-balanced beer. You mix them together, you get a balanced beer? No, you get a very unbalanced beer. But either in the best way possible or worst way possible. Again, you're finding the edge, you're finding how far can I go before this is disgusting? And you're trying to write that. Now, personally, I'm not a huge fan of sour IPAs. I think that most times they're being done wrong or not exactly perfectly, but sometimes they hit the spot. Sometimes they're perfect. Chris, I think I'm losing you and you're losing me, but that's fine. We'll figure it out at some point.
So Max, you're speaking of balance, you're speaking of all those nice things in beer, and I do get you, because the first times I had the Citra Sour IPA, or just like a Citra Sour, it was from Small Pony Barrel Works here in Ottawa, and it did feel a lot like lemonade, closer to a nice lemon. I don't know why, because you got a lot of citrus out there from the original hop, getting the acidity from the sour side of the beer, kind of like blend the both together and create a balance where it meets on a new, total different aroma that you would get from these two ingredients separately. It also, I think, very refreshes the IPA in another way, makes it a little bit lighter. The acidity tends to blend very well with the bitterness at the same time. Like you said, some people mistake bitterness and acidity, or just sourness in general. So having the two kind of like finishing off the beer makes it very nice and quite enjoyable to drink. And I do enjoy sour IPAs. I think they are a very nice style, and they're taking over the scene right now. We'll probably see a lot more of sour IPAs than milkshake IPAs. Finger crossed.
I guess. Yeah, fingers crossed. At the same time, IPAs are kind of a catch-all term at this point in time, where anyone who's making a hobby beer calls it an IPA. Maybe having a better definition between what is an American IPA, New England style IPA, brewed IPA, not necessarily using IPA, but just going, this is a brewed beer, this is a New England style beer, might help people kind of figure out what they like. What I find, as you guys know, I bartend at Bench, a lot of people don't know what they like and not like about IPAs. Mostly they don't like bitterness, but they do like the fruitiness. So being able to separate the both might be something cool. Maybe not. I don't know. Let us know in the comments below if you think that IPA is too much of a catch-all term, or if it does precisely describe exactly what you think when you take a sip of an IPA.
Totally agree with that. I have nothing to add on this.
Well, in that case, if you like this video, Please leave a like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments below, as well as this whole IPA thing, what you would like to see in the next episode of Craft Beer 101 with Hops and Bros.
We're kind of running out of ideas, so we need you guys now.
I wouldn't say running out, we're just catching up with ideas. Boom. Positive twist on a negative thing.
God damn, you're good, Max.
I try. I try.
Ding ding.
This video was brought to you by Mammoth Beard Company, the one-stop shop for all your beer care needs. Now, follow the link below to go to their website and buy their products. They're pretty awesome, love them.
And also, you can use code HopsandBros10 to get 10% off on your first purchase. Woo!
I wasn't sure if that was still on, but that's pretty cool. That's a plus. Now we're just gonna fade out.